as I was saying, Lewis, before we had to rescue that wolf, right?
Yeah, welcome back to Pillocks.
Welcome back, Pillocks.
How you doing?
So, the end goal, if I'm a company, what is my, like, if I'm a mega company, I've got ambitions, right? Oh my God, there's a lot of shit there. Throw fire.
What do you mean if you're a company?
Just imagine if I own a company. It's a huge company, FlaxCorp, right?
You're the owner of the company.
I'm the owner of the company. I own it. The objective is to have a single employee, right? Not me. I live on an island somewhere. Single employee who works for a penny a year. Everything else is done. Everything else is done by robots. All he has to do is come in the morning and turn everything on, or just be there in case something goes wrong to pick up a phone and say the robots have stopped doing stuff, right? So that's my company. We make a product that everybody needs. We charge the maximum price possible for that product. It costs us pennies to make. We never have to employ anybody apart from this one guy, because we're the only job in town, right? We own everything. Nobody has a choice. If we want to set the wages at a penny a year, that's the wages, 1 penny a year, and he's grateful for that penny. We don't employ anybody else. The robots do it all. The only other company we have is a company of guys that we keep on standby in case the robots break down. We bring them in to fix the robots. That's it. That's the end goal. For any company, they would love that. That'd be the dream. They look at the balance sheet. What are our costs? 1 penny a year to pay that guy, right? What are our incomings? Everybody has to buy our product. We're the only game in town. We charge £1 million for our product. Only the very wealthy can buy it, but it doesn't matter. But everybody needs it, but they can't afford it. They all want it, and that's the end goal. That's it. We won. We are the best company ever.
And that's what we have.
In what?
That's basically what we have right now. And so that company, all the time it exists, it tries to and that's basically Walmart you're describing there, okay?
Right.
You're describing a company who pays their employees so little that they have to go to the government and get food stamps to survive. You're talking about a company who pays their employees so little that they're better off not even working at all. They're better off staying at home and claiming government benefits, you know.
Right. But those those government benefits come from taxation. Now, if we reach a point where all that exists is companies and robots and unemployed people, where does the money come from for those benefits?
Listen,
that's my question.
Government has to impose rules that stop capitalism from going out of control in the sense that you've just described.
Right, but capitalism owns the government now. So let's say that I'm the megacorp. If you want money to fund a presidential run, you got to come to me. And we're going to put your face on every billboard. You're going to be the president. You're going to say you're going to do everything. There are no options. A president that runs and says, "I'm going to fix this. We're going to redistribute the wealth." Whoa, that can't happen. And it won't happen. The guy won't get elected. He might be popular among the Guardian readers and stuff like that, but he'll never get in because this guy will promise to fix things.
It's close though, because Sanders kind of wants to do that, right? And it's close.
I don't think he'll win as much as I wish he would. I don't think he will.
Yeah, well, who knows? We'll find out. I think probably. I don't know. I think we'll find out. We won't find out before this video's gone out. But
no, it's a while,
knows?
Yeah, isn't it? When is it? It's this year, right?
I think the primaries are decided by July, and then the sometimes it can be decided earlier if because they're happening sort of right now, and then I think is it November this year? I think the actual election.
It's amazing to me. Like a lot of Americans don't understand why people outside America take such an interest in American politics, and it's very simply because if something shit happens in America, we're all in big trouble. The economy of the world is so balanced around America that if
everyone's
things,
all tied together.
Yeah, if things go bad they go bad for everybody.
So one of the things we were talking about a little bit about last time was that there was a study done, and they look at this as a thing where they pay everyone a set amount of money, per year, okay, as a living amount, right? So imagine everyone in the country got paid a certain amount per year. That will be something which would be very interesting to experiment on, and it's something that we could do. Okay.
Yeah.
And what you do that's almost like giving people a minimum wage, except kind of different. And so that way, it would mean people were perhaps less desperate. It would mean people were perhaps. And the thing is that people say, oh well, if we gave everyone everything for free, then they wouldn't. No one would ever do any work, and that's not true. Actually, it turned out when they did test this that yes, some people took less hours, but most people did want to work to supplement their income, to give themselves something to do, and also people are quite passionate to do things. A lot of people don't hate their jobs and actually are quite passionate to be involved and do something exciting and have something to do. You know, even these back in the day gentlemen scientists who were rich and loaded, you know, they were working all around the clock doing all sorts of business ventures and things like this, even though they didn't need to, because it was better than the alternative, which was just doing nothing, being bored at home. You know, people have other motivations than simply money too. People want to make an impact on people's lives and make an impact on society. People are good.
Yeah.
And I think that you sometimes forget that when you think about these broad political statements and things. But I think that, for example, I think when it happened, when they did the study, I think people still argue about what the results were. But I think it's certainly something, and also who knows what will happen if we try it out. It might be a disaster. But I think that it's worth trying these things out, because who knows what the outcome might be. And I'm just saying that, you know, we do have this capitalist society, but it's the goal of government to restrict it, and that's why they have things like, you know, anti-monopolies commissions and things like this, and you know, making sure that they're taxed right and they treat their workers correctly.
How's that working out?
Well, it's maybe the government isn't stepping up to do its job as well as it could be in some places. Who knows?
But they're still there. That's my point. Is that it's not like for instance, it doesn't really matter. I think is people's concern with politics is that I think a lot of people that get into politics are just doing it because it's a good way to get money, and you get a great job afterwards because you can walk into like a CEO or a head of a company because it's like, oh, Senator so-and-so is going to work here now. Or, you know, if you're a politician and you stop, it's really good on your CV to say, oh, I was an MP and I did this, that, and the other. And they make a lot of buddies in the business world when they're doing all this stuff because, of course, people in business have a vested interest in politics way more than the average person because their bottom line might depend on a policy. So
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you could spend £1 million to save your company £1 billion, then why the hell wouldn't you do it? Sometimes it's logical. A lot of these capitalist companies are the same way. They think, well, if I cause this pollution and it saves us £1 billion, you know, I don't mind paying a £500 million fine because at the end of the day we're up. And those are the problems I have really when it comes to because unfortunately companies are not moral.
No, they're not.
Groups of shareholders are not particularly moral. People just want their money, and these decisions often are made in a very immoral way. I think people are good, and often the people in these companies are probably good, but I'm not saying all of them are good. But I think they're also very willing to justify their, frankly, immoral decisions because it's for the good of the company, or it's not my problem. It's the company's doing this, not me.
It's just business, Lewis.
The company is like an immoral robot.
There's a movie about how a company is actually, if you look at the psychology, if a company was a person, it would be a psychopath.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. Like, people are allowed to excuse their morality because this is just business. This is the way you do it. And they've all been to business school and been taught this is the right way to do business. You just do it this way. It's really simple. It's all very easy. Bottom line, shareholders, I think, when you have shareholders, it's a very easy to cop out. You don't need to make a moral decision. It's just, well, this is what the shareholders want. And because they're a distance removed from the company, they get to just say, we just want more money. So I do think it does make it too easy. Not enough of the people who have the power and the money have a real vested interest in society. And you know what? My dad said a really interesting thing one time. He's, like I said, he's very right-wing. He said, well, it's not fair to talk about rich people as if they're not part of the economy because we all live in the same economy and the prices are the same for everybody. Now, that's bullshit because something is only expensive relative to the amount of money you make. And there are people out there who have to decide, do I fill up my car with petrol or do I pay this bill? Or do I eat and feed my children or do I pay this bill? Rich people don't have to make that decision. Their decision is, do I live this rich life and buy a yacht, or do I buy the yacht next year? Like, that's the level of decision. Some people are making decisions about survival and basic shit, and a very few people are making decisions where their survival and their financial wealth is guaranteed for their lives and the lives of their children, their children's children, but now they need to think, well, do I want to invest in this or do I want to invest in that? It's a completely different economy.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what I think people don't understand.
I found...
Like, there's that video of that guy who types out $1 billion on a... He gets Notepad. Have you seen this? He gets Notepad up.
Oh, my God.
And he gets the billionaire and he types it out in $100,000 chunks. And he just lists it all. He's like, you want to buy a Lamborghini? Boom. Let's buy one for our friends. Boom. Let's buy 10 of them. Boom. And then he scrolls up and down and you can't even see the missing money. That's... I mean, $1 billion is so much money that you could... You never need to worry about money. You could buy whatever you wanted. Anything you want. It's there for you to buy. And that's the thing, I think. The more money those people have, the fact they still want more, surely we shouldn't build a society where that's considered a good thing.
So, well, look, we are not experts on this at all. And so I think that this salt in these comments and...
I'm not a billionaire,
armchair,
Lewis. I'm salty.
Reddit... I think it's interesting to discuss because I think that I will be corrected by people in the comments. And you know what? We're just talking around this because we don't really know. We have our own feelings.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are wrong, but I don't know. It's nice to talk about, isn't it? Holy shit.
I mean, the thing is that this is a conversation that lots of people have and have had. And more often than not, they just have it in the pub or when they're hanging out in the house or whatever. We happen to be having it and other people will be listening. And I think the frustration, if you look at YouTube comments, I was thinking about this the other day, the frustration is you're listening to a conversation and it's like you're sat there at the table and you're not allowed to speak because there's no feedback. It's not like I'm going to involve in this conversation other people watching the video. They just have to listen to us yammering on for minutes at a time without actually being able to chip in. And I think most YouTube comments come from a frustration of it must feel like you're being ignored. You want to butt in and say, no, you're wrong about that. Stop talking about it. But you can't. So it's like you're stuck. Yeah. You're stuck behind a glass plate listening to a conversation. We didn't mean to imprison you in this hell.
Some people will be like, I can't listen to this anymore. I'm just going to have to scan forward until they start talking about Barry Boys again.
Yeah,
and
beautiful, supple
dicks. Even then, like, I think we'll probably be, like, offending a lot of people with our
we haven't set out to offend.
We're always going to upset people.
Yeah, we are, but bear in mind that me and Lewis are, we're decent people. We're not bad guys. We're just some of the things you... Like, I feel like a lot of the time now, if you have an opinion that people disagree with, even on a minor level, you're on another team now. You're on the wrong side. It's just chill. People have had disagreements for thousands of years. We're settling them with a conversation on the internet. We're not killing each other. This is progress. That's going to bounce off that rock and fuck you up.
Oh my God, literally, it just did. Well, I didn't... I sort of should have expected that, really, shouldn't I? So... No, you're 100% right. The fact is that this is like two ignorant guys having a chat in a pub who are both ill-informed. But sometimes it's nice to just kind of assemble our thoughts out there. Sometimes it's nice to just talk about this stuff because then we can assemble our thoughts. We can, just kind of figure out...
Your thoughts take shape. That's why talking is so important when it comes to thinking about things. Like, if you just think of them by yourself without any outside influence to make up your mind, you're probably going to be wrong, I would say. Like, a brilliant philosopher might be able to come up with an amazing point through a thought experiment or something, but most of us, if we have a conversation just with ourselves, without other people chipping in and suggesting things, it's very hard to form a really coherent idea.
Well, listen, the thing I think about opinions is that everyone says everyone's opinions are equally valid, and that is simply not true.
Not true.
Opinions are what you think, right? And what you think might well be wrong. What I think might well be wrong. My opinion, I might as well be saying, when I say opinion, I should say my probably wrong thoughts, okay? Because that's what opinions are. They're your probably wrong thoughts. And if you actually look them up, we said this right at the start, we started this, which was that if we think something, the opposite is probably true.
Yeah.
So we did sort of give a little warning before we started this rant. But the fact is that economics wise, who knows? What we've said might be completely the wrong way to do it, and maybe it's good that people aren't listening to what we, or maybe the way we're doing things at the moment is the best way and the most stable way. Who knows, right? We don't know. It's our opinion. It's our thoughts. It's shit, I've pulled a massive pack of
Christ!
other monsters with that lightning bolt. I've now got a double pack on me.
Trouble.
So this is interesting. This might
might
not
be a
go as
reload.
well as we intend, but who knows? No, so especially when you come, there's two things you're not supposed to really talk about, which is politics and religion when
Yeah.
it comes to
Dating.
if you want to make friends with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're never going to end up well. Everyone's got their own weird little opinions on the stuff, and it's such a charged topic. And also, it's something that tends to happen the older you get, right? The older we get, the more interested we are in politics, bizarrely.
Yeah.
When I was young, I certainly couldn't give a fuck. I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. And I guess I kind of still do in a way, but
Oh, I
it's
love
hard,
it.
It's hard not to be engaged.
It's
That's one
fascinating.
good thing you should say about Donald Trump. It's, at least he's getting people engaged in it.
Jesus, that's a reach.
At least people are like, fuck, I don't want Donald Trump, to be president, or holy shit, Donald Trump being president. At least it gets people talking about it, which is, it's important.
I guess. My problem is it actually animates a lot of people that I wish had never bothered getting into politics in the first place. Like, I feel like it gives some people, they're like, yeah, finally a guy that speaks to me. And you're like, oh my God, not these people. Like, they're suddenly excited about politics, and I wish they'd just gone back to just watching daytime TV and being boring. I'm like, please don't get involved in politics. It's scary for you. Go away. But then again, that's me disagreeing. The thing is, right, if he wins, that's democracy. You've got to accept that obviously a majority of people really do feel that Donald Trump is a great guy and he's going to do good things. You've got to accept that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's terrifying to think that some people out there think, this is the guy, finally. And there's enough of
What
them
was the
that he
thing I
might
said
be president.
yesterday? I said yesterday, I had a thought. I don't know, it was like a shower thought. I said yesterday, imagine you were like a leader of a foreign country.
Right.
Okay. Like, I don't know, anyone, like David Cameron. And you had to have a meeting with the president of the US, right? And it was Donald Trump.
Right.
I would be like so careful because who knows what he's doing? He's like a loose cannon. He's
Yeah.
like, do you know what? It's like having a psychopath, working for you in your office. You'd just be so careful around him all the time.
Yeah, you wouldn't
just,
dare fire him.
He'd always get what they wanted. It's a little bit like having this like some axe murderer, working for you. You'd just be so careful. Because you wouldn't want to get murdered by this axe murderer. You want the whole fucking world to go to shit.
I want to raise. Yes, no problem. No problem. You've been
Yes, okay.
You've been brilliant.
Please don't ruin everything. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, in a way, like, I'm not now suddenly supporting Trump, but I can see why, why it might actually not be appalling.
Oh, that'd be
So,
terrible.
my God, I've got this monk with dual wielding swords. Originally, I just had him with his fists. But then I swapped to some swords.
Thank God.
And I don't think it does any more damage.
Oh.
He's got all these crazy spells.
I hate monks in RPGs. I hate it. The idea that their fists are just so good. It's like, don't be ridiculous.
I don't particularly rate them either. But anyway, he's got this ability, which is at the bottom, which I find in a second, called the long pain, right? Where basically his fists become ranged.
Oh, wow.
attacks.
All right, that sounds cool.
So he could just stand at the back and punch them from miles away.
I want to see that.
Which is interesting. So I think I get that. The rooting pain is an interesting one, but the long pain, summer weapon, long pain fists.
Again, another nickname for my penis. A long pain.
The long pain.
Actually, I call it the crucible of suffering. It's,
Oh, okay, cool. Holy shit. So, oh my God. We've talked a lot about some pretty serious and pretty deep topics today. And
all right, let's lighten it up. Let's lighten it up. Tattoo Fixers.
All right.
Have you watched it?
Tattoo what?
Fixers.
Tattoo fixers?
Yeah, they fix.
Oh, is that
they
to fix
fix
a bad
Yeah,
tattoo?
they fix bad tattoos. Is
it like when you're writing a thing and you accidentally write the wrong number down and you change that number? Hang on, I haven't finished.
Okay.
Right? You write down like a 1, okay, and it's actually a 7. But you can fix that 7 with no one noticing. Or, for example, 6, okay, you've written a 6 down. You can quite easily change that into a weird-looking 8.
Yeah.
And then it won't look like you've crossed it out. Is it like that?
No. It's things like, for instance, a guy goes on holiday to Ibiza, gets very drunk, and gets the words "I am an I am's cat" tattooed on his leg. right?
Oh my god!
And now he's a massive dog lover. He loves dogs. So he has I Am's cat on his leg.
What's an Am's cat?
Am's is a brand of cat food. It's like pedigree chum. So it's like that's their slogan. I Am's cat. So it's got a picture of a cat saying I Am's cat. It's all very.
Did he get paid for this?
No. He just got it. He doesn't know
why.
What
the fuck?
He doesn't know why.
He didn't even get paid for the brand sponsorship.
He's just got it on his leg. So he goes in and he shows the tattoo. It's like they always give a little story about how it happened. I Am's cat. And they cover it up with something. So he'd recently come out as gay. So he said, I want a tattoo that talks about that. So I said to Mrs. F, I said, I bet it's a fucking butterfly with a rainbow on it. And they were like, all right, I've drawn a butterfly coming out of a box, like you coming out of the closet, and it's like a rainbow butterfly. And he was like, that sounds amazing. So half the show is disbelief at the shit that people get tattooed on them. The other half is things that they doodle for them on a pad and say, well, like, I'll guarantee you, if you watch the show, it's very funny. It's on 4 on demand. Most of it is unintentionally funny. The tattoo reveal is like the money shot for the show. They do like 5 or 6 of them an episode. They're always great. Like a guy had one on his back that says, got your back, bro. And it's a stick man holding the other stick man's back in his hand, right? And this was like his opening gambit in Fresher Week to sort of impress the girls is like, look at my joke that I put on my body forever. And the guy said to him, I was quite thinking I'd do like an astronaut on your back. And he's like, sounds great. Like that, Lewis. He's happy to have an astronaut.
Instantly.
Yeah, he's like, that sounds great.
He didn't even have a back and forth.
No, he was just like, I've drawn a picture of an astronaut. I was going to cover it with that. Yep, sounds great. And now he's got an astronaut on his back the size of 2 smartphones put together. Like, it's a big tattoo. This one guy goes in and he has live and let die tattooed across his chest. Right?
Oh my god!
And he said, like he was trans. He'd recently gone like a male to female transition, and having live and let die, he felt wasn't a very feminine thing to have on his body. So they said, all right, we can cover this up with. And what do you think? That 90% of the tattoos are either wolves, skulls, snakes, or roses. Right? That's it. So they were like,
are these the ones people don't want?
No.
Or they do
these
want?
are the ones that they cover up the shit tats with. So they were like, what about a giant skull with loads of roses around it? He was like, sounds great. So now his chest, I'm not kidding, it must be like 50% of his midriff is just this vast tattoo because it's got a cover.
Hang on, was he going male to female trans?
Yeah.
So inevitably he's going to want to have a boob job, right?
Right. It was below the boobs, so it was like on his upper stomach area. Live and let die.
Right.
And another guy he went out, the number of guys that go out and get drunk, one guy had a tattoo on his arm. He was like a real nerdy guy. And he had a tattoo of a guy in a Norwich t-shirt top pissing on a guy in an Ipswich top because they beat Ipswich in the league. And it's big.
Shit.
It's like half his arm. And he's got a daughter or something. And she's like, what is that, Daddy? And another guy this is unbelievable. He was a big Scooby-Doo fan as a kid. So he had a tattoo. He always fancied Velma. So it's Velma getting cunnilingus from Scooby-Doo on his fucking leg. That's his tattoo.
Oh my fucking
I know.
god.
And he's like, my daughter's starting to ask questions about it. And Velma's even got a speech bubble saying Scooby-Dooby-Doo, right?
Oh my god.
I know. Unbelievable. That's on his body forever. So the guy says, well, I've drawn a picture of a snake. How do you feel about that? He goes, yeah, sounds great. So like that, the decision is made. So the guy does. It's a really good tattoo.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, I was thinking of doing an elephant. Yep, sounds good.
I guess these people though, the people who get the fucking who have a decision to have a guy pissing on another guy on their arm, or Scooby-Doo giving what's the name, cunnilingus, right?
Right.
Just saying those things. Oh my god! Just those people who just, I guess having that done in the first place means that they are just somehow open to anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Whatever.
They're just up for anything.
Stick it on my body forever. Like, what does it mean?
So
he's like, are you a massive
Jesus.
fan of snakes? He goes, yeah, they're all right. I mean, this one girl, she was homesick, so she had the London skyline tattooed around her wrist, and it was the worst looking London skyline. It looked like someone had just gone with a pen around her wrist. Like, there was no attempt to make it look like London at all. So they just like they go, I was thinking some skulls and some roses. Like, it's always like, it's like that bingo game that you play. It's like that. You can listen out. Skull, rose, wolf howling at the moon, and snakes. Those are the things that people want. So they go in, and they've got this tattoo, and they've got this big story about how awful it was and why they got it. And they're just like, well, what about we stick a snake on there? Yeah, sounds good. So then their leg is now covered with a huge tattoo of a snake. That means nothing to them. They don't own snakes. They don't particularly like snakes. They just want a snake because it's better than what they've got. And I wonder how many people go in and get a tattoo. They're like, what are you going to get? I don't know. I was thinking like an ogre or a table or a glass of milk. It could be anything. I just want drawings on my body. At least, like when you meet someone with a tattoo and they've got a story behind it, it means something to them. Like this one woman went in and she had a palm print on her leg. It was a really cool tattoo. It looked very good, and it was actually her ex's palm print. Her girlfriend gave her palm print. She had that tattooed on her leg. It was really good quality tattoo. They broke up like a month later, so she wants to replace it. So she got like a fucking wolf and a dragon and a skull or something, like a snake with a wolf's head pissing on the moon, something like that.
For fuck's
So
sake.
now her leg has that, and I'm thinking the first tattoo at least
Snake
had
with a
some
wolf's head
meaning.
pissing on a dragon. Yeah.
But now the second tattoo you're covering it up with, at least think of something before you go in that means something to you. And like some of them go in and say like, this is a big thing for me, so I'd like this because it represents that. I'm like, great. And the others are just like, they just draw a design. I've drawn a picture, like one of them, I've drawn a hippo because hippos are really dangerous. He's like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. And the other guy's like, what about a wolf? He's like, yeah, sounds great. Stick a wolf on there. So it's just a fucking wolf. It doesn't mean anything. He just thinks it's a nice drawing of a wolf. At least get something that means something. It just blows my mind. Anyway, it's a great show. Tattoo fixes.
I've seen some fucking god-awful tattoos.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I mean, I was always told by my parents, never get a tattoo. You have to have it forever,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But I think that's the point, right?
Yeah.
That you have it forever. That, that life doesn't go on forever, and that, fucking who cares?
Right, yeah, go ahead, get a tattoo. But I'm just
Fucking
saying,
do it.
don't just get a giant snake going up your arm unless you have some association with snakes, so that you're going to say, yes, that reminds me of that time in my life when I worked in a snakeatorium or whatever they're called. The reptile house.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look,
That's that's why I got your face tattooed on my body, Lewis, because, it means something to me.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. There was that time we spent in Ibiza.
Oh.
That balmy summer where we met up with the Iams cat lady.
Oh, man.
And we met up with that guy who was really into Scooby-Doo.
Ugh, what a great guy he was. Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
He was
Gets me every time.
unhealthily obsessed
A lot
with
of guys got one. There's one guy who got one above his crotch that said, "You've been Jamesed." Like, it was to show girls after you'd had sex with them, you could now say, yeah.
You've been Jamesed.
You've been Jamesed.
Oh my god! What do you mean show them after you've had sex with them? What do you mean you keep your t-shirt on the whole way through?
I guess so.
And then after you finish, you just stand up and you're like,
yeah.
You've been Jamesed.
Boom.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
Can you imagine the reaction from that?
Well, he said a lot.
Would they
He said
be
it was
really
affecting his
excited
sex
about
life.
that?
He said it was affecting his sex life. Girls were like, "What the fuck is that? I'm out of here." And another guy had one. This is brilliant. It wasn't a small tattoo. It was fucking huge. Fuck bitches, get money. Right? Tattooed.
Fuck bitches, get money.
Yeah, on his lower abdomen.
I mean, that is exactly what a lady wants to see, isn't it?
He was like, it's not helping. The girls see it. They're not cool with it. It's like, if the first time you take your clothes off, you got to apologize for the insult that you have tattooed forever on your body. You probably
Apologies about this tattoo. Do you know what, actually? Do you know what? Maybe we're going about it all wrong, Pete Flax.
Okay.
Maybe that guy fucking gets all the ladies.
Yeah.
Right? I've just enabled the long pain, so I'm going to try out my ranged
I want to see
fist attack.
Give him a ranged
fucking ready?
fisting. Let's see it.
I'm going to have to get hit by a fireball in a second and disengage. So I'm just going to disengage, run around here.
Let's try out these. It's not working.
It's kind of not really working. I don't know what I was fucking doing. But no, some people, right, are just crazy.
Yeah.
And they get all the ladies.
Yeah, it's true. Here we go.
So the crazy you are, because some women are like, oh my god, that guy that I dated who was like in prison or a drug dealer or something, it was like the best, it was the most exciting thing ever.
Yeah.
Some women are like totally obsessed with this man that they broke up with 5 years ago because he was insane.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
they can't stop talking about him and thinking about him and comparing everything they do, every other person to him.
It's true.
So maybe, people were still thinking, like, maybe there's a load of women out there who are like, oh my god, that guy who had the tattoo of fuck bitches on his shirt, he was
something else.
On his on his shirt. Yeah, on his
on his
on
abdomen.
his chest.
He was some guy.
He was
the one. I knew it.
man.
Yeah, I should have guessed. He's the one.
I knew it. I should have tried to hold on to him.
I also love Scooby-Doo. So, yeah, that makes sense to me, having him a picture of Velma with Scooby-Doo going down on her. God, why didn't it occur to me sooner that he was the one? Yeah,
tattoos are associated with that kind of bad boy thing, which women love.
Yeah,
too.
I guess so.
Mind.
I've wondered a lot about that whole bad boy thing. I knew a girl. She was very nice. She was very sweet. She seemed like a really nice girl. That she was beautiful as well. And you definitely think, wow, she's a really nice girl.
She's a keeper.
Absolutely. Like if I was if I was dating her, I'd be like, fuck me, I've got to do whatever I can to make sure I don't fuck this up. Right? She's beautiful and wonderful and very sweet. Her boyfriend and the love of her life, was a Hell's Angel like gangster who ended up going to prison for shooting someone whilst riding on his motorcycle on the motorway. Okay. And I could not equate her and him being in a relationship in any way, shape, or form. But something in her obviously meant that this was the guy. There was something about this guy. What kind of conversations are you going to have with someone like that? What kind of relationship do you have with someone who is shooting people from their motorcycle and is in the Hells Angels, and you're like this sweet girl? It's just crazy. It's just it's such an interesting psychological thing. I'd need to know so much more about it.
I'd love to know more about it.
It's a sex thing. It's a sex thing. It's always a sex thing.
Well, listen, I think the whole thing you said earlier, though, about the guy with the tattoo who said, what did he say? He said, oh, it's affecting my sex life. I guess it's only going to affect your sex life if you're, first of all, really embarrassed about it, okay? So, and also second, you're totally into that kind of hookup culture thing where, sex is kind of, you're going on one-night stands, I guess, or something meaningless. The fact is that, if I had a tattoo that said, fuck weed, smoke bitches, whatever, right? Right?
Yeah.
I would be like, not one of the first things I showed to a woman, but like I would make it. I would be like totally confident about it. That's first of all, own it, right? If you're going bald, just fucking own it.
Yeah, I own
right?
it.
Don't be nervous about it. You have to fucking own it. If you're insecure about things, then most people don't notice. Most people don't care, right? If you're bald and the girl's already talking to you, they know you're bald.
Yeah.
Right? If you're wearing a hat to hide the baldness, and then you wait till the bedroom to pull off the hat and reveal the baldness, you might run into problems.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So with this guy, with that tattoo, if you're insecure about something, fucking get it out there.
So you'd walk around wearing like crop tops that show off your abs. You'd work on those abs, and you'd have the fuck bitches get money and just think, I will just go with the kind of women who think that's a nice tattoo. I'm going to have sex with that guy. Like you've got to embrace those who will embrace your flaws, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, not so much. Just own your flaws, or don't let that.
I don't think I think a lot of women will just be straight put off, because if you're super confident about having fuck bitches get money tattooed on your body, they'll be thinking he just wants to fuck bitches and get money. Like he's buying into that whole ethos.
No, but look at this hilarious guy. It's a joke. You can make a funny thing out of it. It's like, oh, I got drunk on Ibiza when I was 18. I had this stupid tattoo. Check it out. You just bring it up. It's just a joke. It could be even like a fucking intro. That's if you're interested in that kind of culture. Like if you've met a woman, who you're not just chasing some one night stand. I don't know. I guess it depends, doesn't it? If that's what he wants, then sure, fuck it. Have a big dragon there instead. I'm sure that's going to be way better. You take off your shirt and there's a big fucking dragon with a wolf's head and a skull, and you're like, oh yeah, I've got this massive dragon with a wolf's head and a skull. Like, it's
It's generic.
Fuck bitches get money like that much worse.
I think it is, probably.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. If you say so.
I don't want either of them, but I mean, you could explain. One of them looks like a regular tattoo. The other one is like a story. What the fuck is up with this fuck bitches get money tattoo?
Why do tattoos always follow that same fucking anchor and wolf, dragon, skull
I'll tell you
motif?
why. Having watched Tattoo Fixers, I've got an insight into the mentality of these.
Is it like a cultural thing?
No. I think some people just want a tattoo to identify as, I'm not your usual kind of guy. Like, I'm going to get a tattoo.
Right.
Or, I'm a girl, I'm going to get a tattoo. And I like tattoos, so I like the way it looks. People like the adornment and stuff like that. It's no different from people that wear a suit all the time. Like that friend, everybody's got a friend, wears a fucking suit everywhere, right? The guy at the school, he had a briefcase. He's that guy. You know, no one's like mocking that guy and saying, well, fucking, why would you wear a suit to the pub? Some people just like to do that. If you like to get tattoos, go for it. Get tattoos. All I'm saying is that I feel like some people want to be a part of having tattoos and displaying, I'm not your regular kind of person. I'm going to have tattoos and I don't care what you think, and kind of belligerent about it, but at least put some thought into it. Don't just walk in and go, what have you got in a skull with roses? Here you go. Yeah, bosh, have that done. At least have something that means something. And some of the tattoos that people had meant something and they still didn't work out, but they didn't replace it with something that meant something. They just chucked a fucking wolf on there. That's my problem.
Yeah.
One girl had, she wanted a tattoo of her hand holding her infant son's hand. And the tattoo artist...
Oh my God.
Which is weird, but the tattoo artist hadn't put her hand in at all and had just done her son's hand, but it looked like a dead old man's hand. It was like the worst
creepy
tattoo.
old hand.
It was like a creepy little weird hand, like Cousin It, just on her arm. So what do you think she covered it up with, Lewis?
A fucking wolf.
Doing what? Howling at the moon! That's what they do!
Howling at the moon?
Howling at the moon,
it was
of
a
course.
fucking wolf howling at the moon.
It's gotta be.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was
Well,
like...
do you know what? I think those tattoos are so bland
Yeah.
that people don't even notice.
Exactly.
Right? It's so bland that it's almost like having a blank canvas. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost the word. If you had a tattoo of the word tattoo, people wouldn't see it, right? It would be like some Darren Brown shit, right?
Yeah.
It would be like if you were covered in tattoos that all just said the word tattoo. No one would fucking.
I'd love that. That's a good one.
You wouldn't. Oh my God, that's a really good idea. I think we should do that.
Patent.
Anyway, that is all for Picks for Eternity today. Thank you for watching.
Peace.
See you all next fucking time. Goodbye.